The events in this program are inspired by a true story. Names, dates, and details have been changed. Viewer discretion is advised. On this episode of Bizarre Murders,
You don't have a shred of evidence against my client.
Patrick is a big-shot attorney with a reputation as a ladies' man. But when he meets the woman of his dreams, he's hooked.
Marry me.
Beautiful, smart, and hiding more secrets than the Pentagon.
I'll let him know that you called, okay?
He's got no idea. Yeah! She's about to become his worst nightmare. Savannah, Georgia. A city overflowing with good old Southern charm and hospitality. But also a hot spot for crime. And the domain of the sharply dressed gentleman and criminal lawyer, Patrick.
You don't have a shred of evidence against my client. I'll have this charge thrown out before your coffee gets cold.
Oozing charisma and smarts, Patrick is a consummate showman. He's the go-to guy for everyone, from trust fund kids charged with sexual assault to murderous drug dealers. Patrick is a larger-than-life figure in and out of the courtroom. He's been married and divorced 3 times. Patrick may be a high flyer, but he's not without his demons. He's well known for going on benders, disappearing for days before sobering up and getting back to work.
Patrick is what we call a high-functioning alcoholic. He may think he's always in control, but like any addict, he's prone to making some pretty impulsive moves. It's that mentality that can open you up to trouble, no matter how smart you think you are.
You have a resume for me?
I do.
Patrick meets Amanda when she comes in to interview for a paralegal position.
So, why do you think you're a good fit for the job here?
Well, Patrick. Can I call you Patrick?
Yeah.
He's immediately taken with her.
It's gotta be here, Amanda.
There,
Amanda quickly establishes herself as an outstanding employee.
right?
You're right. Excellent work. Excellent work.
She's quick to impress, both at work and during off hours.
You are something else, you know that?
Amanda is different than any other woman he's met before, or married.
You're smart. You're beautiful.
Patrick falls hard and fast. Very soon, they're in a serious relationship.
I think you got something behind your ear. No, this one right here. Right there.
And when Patrick pops the question,
Marry me.
Just try and stop me.
Amanda doesn't hesitate.
I guess Patrick never heard of the old saying, marry in haste, repent at your leisure. But he's one of those guys who can't stand being alone. Who knows? Maybe 4th time's a charm. Good luck. He's just proposed to the woman he barely knows. Sure, she's beautiful and good at her job, but who is she really? Married life always has a way of unpacking everybody's baggage sooner or later.
Amanda and Patrick settle into what looks like wedded bliss.
Good morning, sweetheart.
Thanks, babe.
Breakfast is served. Pancakes your favorite?
Patrick loves taking care of his new wife.
With a side of diamond.
That is so beautiful.
For you.
Oh, wow. I love it. Thanks, babe.
And in turn,
Yeah, come on, princess! Get moving, get moving!
Amanda opens up a whole new world for Patrick.
Run, Come on!
Yes!
when she introduces him to her passion, horse racing.
She's hot! She's hot! She's coming! She's coming! She's coming! Yeah! We are in the money!
From his first derby in mint julep, Patrick is hooked. And it doesn't take long for Amanda to convince Patrick to buy their own racehorse.
Oh, sweet.
Soon, they're in the winner's circle.
What?
But a few months after their wedding,
Doesn't make sense.
Patrick discovers the woman of his dreams isn't as perfect as he thought she was. The state bar accuses Amanda of embezzling nearly $100,000 from client trust accounts and siphoning it back into the firm.
They're accusing you of embezzling $100,000. Like, what do you have to say for yourself?
I don't know what to say.
When Patrick confronts her,
You have to forgive me.
Amanda offers no explanation.
Her husband's loaded, but she deliberately steals from his clients. What's the payoff? Either Amanda's not a very good thief or this is emotional blackmail. She's testing the limits of Patrick's love for her. Now, I call that some kind of baggage.
Instead of letting Amanda pay the piper, Patrick, the ever-doting husband, pays back the money, packs up his practice, and the two lovebirds head east to start over with a clean slate.
Patrick has fallen under the spell of his new bride, who's no ordinary trophy wife. But will her charms prove to be toxic?
Patrick sets up a new practice in Greenwich, Connecticut as a real estate lawyer. And it's not long before his practice is thriving. Once again, he and Amanda are living the high life. Patrick and Amanda's passion for horses only grows with the move to Connecticut.
And here's to victory. Yeah!
They're now owners of 3 prize-winning stallions and fixtures on the racing circuit.
No, sorry, he's not here right now.
Want to talk to my dad now? I haven't seen him since the wedding.
Well, I'll let him know that you called, okay?
Yeah, please do.
All right. Bye.
Patrick's never been happier,
Here you go, babe.
but his family and friends are having doubts about his latest wife.
Thank you.
Who was that?
Oh, it's just some pesky telemarketer.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Amanda is extremely evasive when asked about her past, and his family complain she's cutting them off from Patrick. Even when his daughter Maggie digs into her past and finds out Amanda has been in trouble for writing a bad check, Patrick refuses to hear anything against her and cuts off ties.
So we've got a new young wife whose sticky fingers put her husband in a dicey position. Patrick had to move his home and practice to save face. This looks like the earmarks of a narcissist who can't see how her actions reflect on anyone else. But now, Amanda is isolating Patrick from family and old friends, making him totally dependent on her for his happiness. And that sounds familiar to me. This is the MO of a con artist.
I don't know what we're gonna do about this.
I know, but see, I was doing some research, and if we go down to this section,
With business booming, Amanda, who is now managing the office, decides to hire herself an assistant.
that gets us out of the issue we had over here, right?
That looks really good on you.
Thank you.
Brooke is pretty, bright, and very eager to learn.
Oh, what did he say to you?
So I started going on about something, and I said, I'm sorry, but those accounts just aren't yours.
Right?
It's not going to work that way. So I'm not entirely sure what he was thinking, but
The two women click instantly, and soon they're inseparable.
Good for you, though, seriously. Wow.
well, I learned from the best, so.
Usually, Patrick would be up for a little menage a trois fun, but not when the other woman looks like she'd like to cut him out of the equation completely.
Don't you have somewhere else to be?
Here's a guy who turns a blind eye to his wife's embezzlement attempt, but not when somebody's making a play for her affections. Brooke seems as obsessed as he is about Amanda, and worse, Amanda appears to be returning the feelings. Love triangles can be messy. Who's gonna throw down first is anyone's guess.
Did you see it? That was so good.
Oh, great. Right on time, 30 minutes late. And what is she doing here? Amanda, what is she doing here? No.
I invited her.
Get her out. Get her out. I want her out. I want her out.
Tensions reach a boiling point when Brooke shows up unannounced at the biggest horse race of the season,
You're fired. I want her out. You're
I'm
fired.
fired.
the Duchess Cup.
You can't fire me. I don't work for you.
Oh,
So-
I just did.
I'm sorry, you're not my boss.
I just fired you. Amanda,
Patrick,
fire your little whatever the
take
hell.
it easy. Let's all
Fired.
just
Get her
go
out.
to the Derby and have a good time together. How about that?
Oh, I've been having a great time.
I'm not leaving, so you can just deal with that, or maybe you don't have to go to the Derby.
With 2 horses in the running, Patrick has a lot riding on the race.
Let's go.
Run it.
A $1 million purse, to be exact. So for now, he's laying off Brooke, but not the booze.
Win me some money. Win me some money.
2 laps in, and Patrick is barely holding it together.
I don't feel so good.
Come on. Come on, run it. Run it. Run. Come on. No.
He might be a killer in the courtroom, but Patrick ought to watch his back when it comes to competing for a woman's heart.
God, he's so heavy.
So disgusting.
Smells like a tiki bar. Jesus Christ.
Back in the hotel room, things go from bad to worse for Patrick.
Let me get our medicine for our sick patient here.
You don't need an FBI badge to see Amanda's made her choice and that she has a more permanent solution to her Patrick problem. Get rid of him for good.
Time to take your medicine like a good boy.
Patrick tries to beg for his life, but he's paralyzed. Whatever Amanda gave him is powerful.
Why kill Patrick? For the money? And what's Amanda's plan once he's dead? It's going to be tough to explain how he died if there's an autopsy and they find poison in his system. And if she gets rid of the body, there's going to be other questions. Patrick is well known in legal and horse racing circles. People are going to notice if he's missing.
Damn, what are you doing? Oh, look at him. Hurry up. Oh my God, we don't have time for this. Well, let's go. He looks ridiculous. Let's go.
After managing to sneak Patrick out of the hotel, they drive to a secluded area so Amanda can get rid of the body.
So the thing about poison is, if you're not an expert like you or me, chances are you don't know exactly how much you'll need or how long it'll take to do the job.
Check his pulse. He's still breathing. Are you kidding me?
This is where Amanda faces a moral crossroads of sorts. Does she bury him alive or wait it out?
Well, let's take him home.
In the end, she opts for a weekend at Patrick's move. Oh, yeah, I know it's not the name of the movie.
Can you go check on him?
Okay. Not yet.
It takes another 6 hours before Patrick finally draws his last breath. Only Amanda's problems are far from over.
If you're going to go as far as killing a guy, then you better go all the way and put him 6 feet under.
Fridge.
not in the fridge. I mean, that might slow decomposition, but it won't stop it altogether. So now they face the risk of A, someone discovering the body when they go to look for Chardonnay, or B, as time goes by, it gets harder to get rid of a rotting corpse without anybody suspecting. And then there's C. Where are they gonna put all that wine now?
Cheers.
Yeah.
At first, when Patrick doesn't show up at the office, people assume he's gone on another bender. Amanda and Brooke get to work cleaning out Patrick's accounts and selling off his assets to a tune of $600,000.
I couldn't have done it better myself.
They liquidate everything except Patrick's prize-winning horses. I guess Amanda's got a sentimental streak. Or she just loves horses more than she loves people.
While Patrick is stuffed in the wine fridge, they burn through his money on flashy new cars, wild nights out, and expensive jewelry. Then Brooke moves in. She and Amanda settle into domestic bliss.
I've heard that couples who've been together for a long time start to actually resemble one another. This terrifies my wife. But in this situation, it's just creepy. I'd say master manipulator Amanda is up to something.
As the weeks pass, people start inquiring about Patrick's whereabouts. Amanda and Brooke feed them a web of lies.
These two ladies get real creative. They tell his clients he's out of town, but friends and family, like his daughter, are told he's in rehab in Costa Rica and he's joined a cult. They're convinced people will buy what they're selling and they're gonna get away with it. Ladies, I really hate to burst your bubble, but real life isn't a movie. Sooner or later, people are gonna get wise.
Worried sick,
Detective Novak?
Patrick's daughter Maggie reports him missing to the police.
Okay.
Amanda somehow catches wind the police want to talk to her about her missing husband. That's her cue. She needs to get rid of the body. They drive to Atlantic City and check into a hotel. While Brooke waits in the room, Amanda scouts a suitable place to bury Patrick.
I could have told Amanda that getting rid of a body isn't as easy as it looks, but she's got an even bigger problem now. As soon as Patrick is out of the fridge, decomposition speeds up. It's no fun having cops breathing down your neck with a stench like that oozing from your trunk. It smells like about 200 pounds of rotted, maggot-infested meat. That little pine tree under your rearview mirror, it's not gonna cut it. She has to move fast.
The next day, Amanda finally manages to bury Patrick in a shallow grave in the countryside, 100 miles from her home. Then, Amanda drains the firm's cash deposits, over $100,000, and closes down the office. Finally, she sends Brooke a text. But when Brooke arrives to meet up with her girlfriend, Amanda is nowhere to be found.
Amanda's flown the coop with a whole lot of cash. Sure, she can run, but the question is, will she get away with murder?
When Patrick's body is found in a shallow grave, police launch a nationwide manhunt for Amanda. The coroner determines that Patrick died from ingesting large quantities of asapromazine, a common horse tranquilizer.
I've seen my share of murder weapons, but this is a first. There is nothing common about death by horse tranquilizers. Amanda's big problem is she's practically pointed a finger at herself. It's no secret that she and Patrick owned horses, so she had access to what? Horse tranquilizer. That's means. She stole Patrick's money. That's motive. But ironically, if she hadn't put him in the fridge, she might still have gotten away with murder. See, decomposition destroys everything, including most poisons. If she'd buried him pronto, Patrick would have been worm food already, but preserving him meant the poison was still traceable in his organs and bodily fluids. Once the tox screen was run, it's good night, Amanda.
Police dig into Amanda's background and discover she's got a rap sheet of over 100 frauds and theft offenses. And she's got 30 aliases. Among them, Elizabeth, the horse whisperer, Crystal, the real estate agent, and Shanty, the massage therapist. Her real name is Karen.
Anyone with that many aliases gets as much of an adrenaline rush from scamming people as they do stealing money. They don't see the world the way you and I do. They're actors who spin tales to boost their own egos. Getting people to buy into the fantasy is what gets them off. And as soon as they've acquired the information to forge another identity, they're off to rinse and repeat.
Authorities eventually track Amanda to Myrtle Beach, where it all began. She's got a new ID, a new job, and guess what? A new man. Amanda is arrested and gives a full confession.
Amanda's got that gift that all clever con artists have, the ability to reinvent themselves. They instinctively know how to play their mark by becoming exactly what the mark needs them to be. They gain trust using many techniques, but it's all part of a big game.
It all started when Patrick and I started to have marital problems. Brooke came into the picture, and to be honest, I did feel like we had something special.
But why Amanda decided to kill Patrick instead of merely draining him dry? Could be she actually had real feelings for Brooke.
But there was something wrong with her. It wasn't enough for her to just have me divorce him.
But obviously not enough to take the rap all by herself.
I really hope that she gets the help she needs.
Brooke is brought in for questioning.
Okay, Brooke, tell me what you know.
I'm just his assistant. I don't really know what's going on. I'm not really sure.
But denies any involvement in the murder.
She's made a confession, and your name is all over it.
That's not true. If you're gonna pin this on anyone, it's her fault.
Looks like Mini-Me picked up a few tips from her master. The con artist MO is never cop to anything. Their defense is, hey, the mark was just asking to be had.
I'll show them.
If convicted, both the women could face the death penalty. But Amanda doesn't give prosecutors a chance. She kills herself in jail while awaiting trial.
The letter she leaves behind is to her lawyer, instructing him to sue the police for giving her the means to kill herself. She wants a settlement to go to her horses. You gotta hand it to her. Even in death, Amanda can't help herself. For a con artist, failure is not the end. It's just a signal to try a new angle.
Luckily for Brooke, there's no physical evidence tying her directly to the crime. She's sentenced to 10 years for voluntary manslaughter and fraud.
I bet Brooke spent some quality time trying to figure out why Amanda did what she did. I mean, she had all the time in the world to. But when all's said and done, with Amanda dead, no one will ever really know her true motivations. And I kind of suspect that even Amanda herself wasn't too sure. Like the saying goes, though, it's a riddle wrapped in a mystery inside an enigma.
The events in this program are inspired by a true story. Names, dates, and details have been changed. Viewer discretion is advised. On this episode of Bizarre Murders, when a lingerie designer who appears to have it all is found bludgeoned to death with a sex paddle, police suspect she could be the victim of an intruder. But when they learn her life isn't as rosy as it seems, they'll do whatever it takes to get the case all sewn up.
Francine? Francine? God, Francine. Francine. Hey, it's me, Ty. Francine, wake up.
Not exactly the Monday morning Ty envisioned when he came to visit his good friend Francine.
I need help, please. Hurry.
When lead investigator Detective Lopez arrives at the crime scene, he notices Francine has been beaten to death with a sex paddle.
Over the hundreds of cases I worked with the FBI, I learned that whenever you see something like a victim killed by a bedroom toy or in a state of undress, you have to at least consider the possibility that you're looking at a sex game that went wrong. If that's the case, Francine's killer would have had sexual contact with her. And that means the best option for finding him is to pull DNA from something he left behind. Oh, come on, let's just say it. I'm talking about semen. And looking at the state of this bed, there's a lot to choose from. Still less than most hotel rooms, though, seriously. After years of seeing hotel rooms checked with UV light, I would never sleep on those sheets, which is how I've ended up as that weird old guy who travels around with his own linens.
Hello?
Who is this? And why answer my wife's phone?
This is Detective Lopez, and if your wife is Francine, there's been an incident.
Alistair, Francine's husband, is out of town on his annual hunting trip with his frat buddies. 10 years ago, that's how he and Francine first met. It would change Francine's life forever.
Hey, you must be Alistair.
Hi, yeah.
Francine.
Francine?
Yeah, Tim invited me over for the weekend.
You hunt?
No.
At first, Francine wants nothing to do with Alistair. But Alistair is more than a little intrigued by her. Back at university, he works hard to win her over, and the two soon become friends, with benefits.
Looks great, babe. You should try to sell it.
Oh, no one would buy my stuff.
Of course they would. You're a great designer.
Oh, thank you. You're so sweet.
And before long, Francine and Alistair jump into a full-on relationship. They spend the rest of college joined at the hip. When they graduate, they tie the knot.
Okay, wait, you can put me down.
The newlyweds work hard to build a life together and make their dreams come true.
I love you.
I love you too.
Francine launches a high-end lingerie line, while Alistair decides to write the next great American novel.
At first, Francine and Alistair are young and in love. But over the years, their lives become less Leave It to Beaver and more Desperate Housewives. When Francine hits the big time and there's still no novel in sight, Alistair's fragile man ego is shattered. He decides the best thing to do is enjoy Francine's underwear and the big bucks it brings into their bank account.
Babe, leave me your credit card. There's this awesome jet ski we want to check out.
Really? The motorcycle wasn't enough?
Well, Francine spends long hours running her company.
Gotta go.
Thanks, babe. You're the best.
Yeah.
Alistair lives like a king, sleeping until noon, regular spa days, and treating his frat buddies to scotch tastings and cigars. As Alistair rushes back to the city, Detective Lopez turns to Francine's body for answers about when she got her deadly paddling.
Getting a solid time of death is vital in a homicide case, because once you have that, you can start checking alibis and narrowing in on suspects. So when did Francine die? Her limbs are stiff but not rigid, so I'm thinking she's been dead maybe 24 to 48 hours, which means she would have been killed between late Friday night to midday on Sunday. Talk about your rough weekend.
But when the DNA results come in, they show all traces of semen belong to Alistair.
Well, those results don't help us get any more answers. Unless, of course, your question is how virile Alistair happens to be.
My wife meant everything to me, Detective. You better find the guy that did this to her. Here. Thanks.
No problem.
Alistair tells police the last time he saw Francine was right before he left on his annual frat reunion hunting trip. And everything was more than fine between them.
Looking for this?
Yes, I was. I love you. Woo! Instead of wasting your time talking to me, you should be interviewing Ty.
Excuse me?
He was her lover, after all.
Sorry, Ty?
Okay, we've got lingerie, a sex paddle, and now a lover. Is this a case or an episode of Dynasty?
Alistair reveals to police that his wife Francine was having a fling with her friend Ty.
I've been slaving since September with my nose to a book. I missed 100 mamacitas cause I ain't got time to look. So when my bros called me up, I didn't have
But while Francine was seeing Ty on the side, she wasn't cheating. They were all part of a swingers club. Drop your keys in the fishbowl and pick up anybody else's you want to go home with.
So it turns out that Alistair and Francine had an open marriage. Translation, they could see who they wanted to see on the side, but the deal was that any side relationships had to stay light and be focused only on sex, not on intimacy, because your spouse banging a stranger is cool, but cuddling afterwards? Oh, no. That is over the line.
Over the years, Francine has developed a whole set of rules for their engagements, but Alistair is less than willing to follow them.
I get that rules are supposed to protect against jealousy, but you really can't control emotions like that. At least I don't think you can. I mean, it's not like I have firsthand experience swinging. I mean, clearly, I'm way too straight-laced for that. I mean, I'm blushing just talking about all this. Are we done?
Hey, babe.
Babe? want to do this anymore. I just want it to be just the two of us again.
Francine decides it's time to trade swinging for a swing set.
I want to try having a baby.
Of course, honey. Anything for you. You know that. Yeah, my wife and I had an open relationship. It was an agreement we had. But when we closed the marriage, Ty got all weird about it. He didn't take it too well. Guys like Ty don't get a lot of women, so they get weirdly attached. You understand that, right, Detective?
I'm not agreeing with Alistair's logic, but I am with him that Ty needs to be looked at as a suspect. Okay, let's face it. He found the body, which already makes him a person of interest. And he used to sleep with the victim, which makes him more interesting. All that is more than enough to interview him, no matter how good he is or isn't at picking up women.
I would never hurt Francine. I adored her.
Ty claims he took Francine out for Chinese food on Friday, but just as friends. Then he dropped her off at home around 1 and headed straight out to a weekend retreat.
What is it that you do on the retreat?
I LARP.
Sorry, you LARP?
Live action role play.
Oh.
I'm a swashbuckling pirate.
You're a pirate. Drink up, mateys.
Live action role play is like computer gaming, only more dorky. Players create characters, then get together to portray them for hours or weekends at a time, all in the hope of gaining fake acclaim and admiration. So it's like The Suburbs, but with dragons instead of nosy neighbors.
How did you make out?
Well, I was very close to getting the bounty chest, but Stubby Pete, my friend, got there before I did.
Sorry, your friend Stubby Pete?
Yeah, he has a peg leg.
Oh, Stubby Pete?
The alibi may be odd, but it's solid. With over 50 people at the event, including site security, there's very little chance that Ty could sneak away to kill Francine. With Ty ruled out as a suspect, and the images of the scratches on Alistair's neck still fresh in his mind, Detective Lopez looks more closely at Alistair's alibi.
I'm just following up on an investigation on your dad's friend, Alistair.
He questions Vanessa, daughter of Alistair's frat buddy, Tim, who was hosting the hunting trip weekend.
He said he was here recently?
Yeah. Alistair was up at the cabin with my dad and their friends, like, all weekend. He came over, he was here on Friday, and they drove up together.
Friday now. Do you remember specifically what time on Friday?
Like around 5:30. I remember because he was making this big deal out of a movie that was on TV.
Hey, we're gonna leave now.
Okay, bye then.
I'm gonna let off last.
All right. Icebox. Great movie. I caught this one last night.
Detective Lopez finally gets a break from the most unexpected source.
But you know what was super weird about that movie?
What's that?
So the whole thing was about this husband who kills his wife, and like a few days later, Francine is dead.
I don't know if I'd call that weird, and I certainly don't believe in coincidences. What I do believe in is good police work, and I'd be chasing down this connection because it could prove to be a solid lead.
When Detective Lopez watches Icebox, the movie Alistair was raving about before leaving town, he discovers that the husband not only kills his wife, but gets away with the crime by blasting the air conditioning in the house, distorting his victim's supposed time of death.
Thanks for coming back.
Detective Lopez calls Ty down to the station for another interview, but he only has one question in mind.
When you discovered the body, how cold was it? What was the temperature like?
Well, when I got there, the bedroom door was closed. The air conditioner was on full blast, so it was freezing. And I turned the AC off.
Time of death is usually calculated based on factors like rigor mortis. But when a body is in the cold, rigor mortis can be delayed by hours, or if the temperature is below freezing, even days.
Police thought Francine was killed between late Friday and late Saturday. But once you factor in the temperature of the room, you have to roll the time of death back. And we know she had lunch with Ty at 1 on Friday. But any time after that is in play. Now the question is, was she killed before Alistair left town, making him a viable suspect or not?
Detective Lopez comes up with an unorthodox way to ascertain Francine's true time of death.
Most people don't realize that the stomach stops working almost immediately after a victim dies. So whatever they just ate is basically preserved in their stomachs after death.
Francine still had Chinese food in her stomach from her 1 o'clock lunch with Ty. The stomach takes a maximum of 8 hours to digest food. So Francine's time of death must be somewhere between 1 and 9 p.m. on Friday.
But the only way to prove that is to establish how many hours it takes for the same Chinese food to get as digested as the contents of Francine's stomach. And the only way to do that is to eat the same food as Francine and then throw it up at regular intervals until there's a match. And you know what that means? It means this case is about to get gross. And that right there is why criminals should never underestimate law enforcement, because we'll do whatever it takes to crack a case. The whole situation may seem bizarre, but it works. The food matches at 4 hours, which means Francine was killed right around 5 p.m. That gives Alistair just enough time to have committed the murder, then driven over to Tim's house. I know it's rude to eat and run, but what about kill and run? That's gotta be worse.
A year after Francine's death, Detective Lopez's case against Alistair has gone cold. But then, Tim's daughter comes forward.
So, the night that Alistair came over?
With a confession that cracks the case wide open.
Hey, Francine.
Yeah? Yeah, I'm gonna miss you too.
She realized Alistair
We'll talk first thing in the morning.
was speaking to the dial tone.
Okay?
Yeah, I love you. Yeah, okay, bye.
The only reason to fake a call like that is if you know someone's dead, but you want to make everyone else think they're still alive. And the only person who would want to do that is a killer trying to shore up his alibi. Alistair thinks he's smart enough to trick everyone around him like he's so evil genius. But someone ought to tell him he's more Homer Simpson than Hannibal Lecter.
Detective Lopez finally has all he needs to charge Alistair with Francine's murder.
All the evidence points to you. You're under arrest for the murder of your wife.
Right, I killed my wife, the woman I was happily married to, because that makes sense.
All right, let's get going. Come on, Buttercup. Let's go.
He's not wrong. The lack of obvious motive means the case isn't a slam dunk, and Alistair's now rich enough to lawyer up with the best team possible.
At trial, the truth of Francine and Alistair's relationship comes pouring out.
Want to go again?
Oh, yeah.
Get out of my house. Get out!
Are you...
What is this?
It was the same as before. I don't understand why it's a big...
Because I want to change.
Okay.
I wanted things
Why don't we
differently. I left Ty and we talked about this. You said that was good. You said whatever you want.
I said what I thought
Then
you
what?
wanted to hear, okay? Is that what you want? I don't want a baby. It's not about you. It's my life, too. I like my life the way it was.
Francine designed lingerie, but Alistair's the one with a pattern. While he agreed to close his marriage, he continued seeing his girlfriends on the side.
What is it about? I thought it was about us.
It is about us.
Then
why can't we do
then
both?
Why does she have to be here? What do you want? What do you want from me? I give you everything. For you.
You know what? This...
When Francine confronted Alistair about his cheating, he became violent, and she decided it was time to leave.
I don't want this.
What do you want then?
I want a divorce.
God damn it!
Alistair knew that if Francine went, her money and his Playboy lifestyle went with her. So he decided he couldn't afford to let her go, at least not alive.
Get my shirt. What are you wearing that for?
Don't worry, it's not for you.
The air conditioning idea is actually a pretty good one, and it did confuse the police about Francine's time of death, at least for a while. But you know what isn't a good idea? Ripping your MO off from a movie that's playing on TV at the time. And then on top of that, blabbing about how you saw the film and you loved it. I'd say criminals should learn to zip it, but then it would make them harder to catch. So as far as I'm concerned, they can just keep on gabbing and keep on getting locked up.
Alistair is convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life without parole.
Like a little black dress, true love never goes out of style. But if you're with a man who treats women like fashion trends, picking them up and discarding them as he pleases, be careful. Because I promise you, no matter what he says, the only threesome he really cares about is me, myself, and I.
The events in this program are inspired by a true story. Names, dates, and details have been changed. Viewer discretion is advised. On this episode of Bizarre Murders. On the surface, wealthy plastic surgeon James and his homemaker wife, Julia, are the picture-perfect power couple. But behind closed doors, they both wrestle with personal demons.
Who's Miss Triple X?
When their marriage hits the rocks, detectives must look for a mysterious plus-size lady All right. Who's dressed to kill. Seattle, Washington, a city blessed with natural beauty.
We'll lift a little here.
But for some citizens, natural is a relative term.
While we're at it, take care of that neck. It's quite a waddle you have.
James is a respected plastic surgeon with a very successful practice.
Edwin, can you please come in here for a moment?
His wife, Julia, is a happy homemaker and devoted mother to their only child, Isabel.
Isabel has her riding lesson at 4 o'clock. Can you please make sure she's properly attired?
James earns the big bucks, and Julia runs the household. It's 1984, so it's not that unusual a setup. On the surface, they appear to be playing their roles perfectly, but looks can be deceiving.
Hello?
You know, I don't like to be kept waiting.
James has a reputation for being a strict taskmaster.
I was in the bathroom.
I bet you were taking a bubble bath, getting ready to see your secret lover later.
James, please. I've got errands to run.
You know, it seems like Dr. James is not just a taskmaster, but controlling and a little bit paranoid. But I guess it comes with the territory. I mean, I might be paranoid if I had to please wealthy and potentially litigious clients. Or could it be he's not paranoid and Julia is actually having an affair? Can you blame her?
But there was a time when James wasn't always so in control. As for Julia, she was a free spirit who dreamed of becoming a painter. But she suffered from dramatic mood swings that she managed by self-medicating with Quaaludes and Benzedrine.
You gotta be careful with uppers like Benny's and downers like Ludes, because you don't want to go up when you need to go down and down when you need to go up. Not that I would know. I mean, back in '77, I'd just bought my first Farrah Fawcett poster. But back to Julia and James. The thing with addicts, even the so-called high-functioning types, is they rely on their fix to get them through the day. The balancing act lasts only so long.
Hi, my name is Gail, and I'm an addict.
Hi, Gail.
Hi, Gail.
Julia and James meet at a Narcotics Anonymous meeting. Even though it's against the rules to date while in Narcotics Anonymous, James and Julia can't resist one another. In the midst of kicking their habits, their relationship takes an unexpected turn.
A baby?
After a shotgun wedding, James opens his own plastic surgery clinic and expects Julia to quit her job and raise their child. But a few years into their picture-perfect marriage, cracks start to appear.
You're wearing that. Where's the halston?
I thought this would be more appropriate for tonight.
Appropriate for what? A hoedown?
If I ever talk to my wife like that, well, I don't, because waiting for the other shoe to drop makes me nervous. Anyway, Dr. James is what we call a dry drunk. His fix is controlling every aspect of his life, especially his wife. And as for Julia, well, she became a homemaker for this guy. She may love the money, but I can bet she's not loving the price she's having to pay.
Go change. We're going to be late.
No. I like this dress. Then you can stick that in your pipe and smoke it.
Julia, no longer content to play the role of happy homemaker that James expects, starts asserting her independence.
Now watch me for the pony. 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 Blepema Rubik, Serafina speaking. How can I help you become your most fabulous self?
Put my wife on the phone now. Julia's getting her groove back, and for a guy with James' ego and weaknesses, if he's losing control over his wife, then that makes him terrified he's losing control of his life.
She's teaching a class right now. Call back.
Who's the man? You are the man. Who is the man? You are the man.
When someone with James' coping mechanisms, or lack of them, is scared, they don't just run and hide. No, they come out swinging.
Well, if it isn't my little Jane Fonda home from another long day of leg lifts.
James, your material's getting old. Why don't you do your act for somebody that cares?
Are you forgetting who pays your way?
James, stop.
Or what, you'll leave? I've heard that before, honey. You wouldn't last a minute without my money. And you won't get Izzy. She can do better than a mother who neglects her.
You want to play dirty? Careful, because I'm ready to roll around in the mud.
I don't know where my wife is. Leave me alone, for Christ's sakes.
A successful surgeon and his beautiful wife make a pretty picture. But from the looks of the bedroom in the aftermath of their fight, it's a whole other story. It's possible Julia has taken off to cool down, or she's making plans to leave for good.
When Julia misses her aerobics classes that afternoon, her boss, Serafina, is concerned and goes to the police.
This is not like Julia. Her husband hated her working, like hated. You should hear the way he speaks to her.
All right, what is it you want me to do?
Find Julia!
What if I could? I'm just telling you, there are procedures.
James might be controlling and verbally abusive, but while that's repulsive, it's not enough to open an investigation, yet. A person can't be declared officially missing until they've been gone at least 48 hours, and police will only conduct a search if they believe the disappearance is suspicious.
A few days later, detectives get a call from a gas station attendant.
I was just taking out the trash, man. Honest.
Uh-huh. Julia, huh?
With 48 hours passed and the discovery of her ID, Julia is now officially considered a missing person. In the same bag as the ID, detectives find rope and nail clippers with what looks like dried blood on them, and an assortment of women's garments, all sized extra, extra large.
I know, right?
That's a whole lot of woman. Julia is petite, so I'd rule out the wardrobe as being hers, but whoever it does belong to could be involved with her disappearance or has knowledge of her whereabouts. The nail clippers are gonna need to be tested, because if the blood on them is a match to Julia, well, that might be evidence she was taken against her will. But before police go hunting for a Rubenesque mystery woman with colorful taste, they need to start closer to home. The first person they're gonna want to talk to is the husband.
Detectives want to know why James didn't report Julia as missing.
It's not the first time she's done this. The last time she abandoned her car behind a video rental store.
Well, how do you explain her ID found with a pile of garments that, shall we say, should have belonged to someone with more generous proportions?
Absolutely no idea. All right. We had a fight. I found some used condoms behind the bed, so I confronted her. My guess is she ran away with her new lover. It's Julia's, in case you need a scent for the sniffer dogs.
This guy is so caring, it gets me right there. But giving cops your wife's blouse to get a scent for search dogs isn't the weirdest thing I've ever run across during any kind of investigation. In fact, I had this one guy who claimed to have a split personality, only the other personality was a dog. And I don't speak Rottweiler. Well, bits and pieces, but not fluent. So James has answers for all the police's questions, but as a cop, when you've got the scent of something that doesn't feel quite right, you gotta follow your nose and see where it takes you.
Detective Falco talks with Serafina, hoping she can shed some more light on Julia's whereabouts.
I told you something was up, but you didn't listen.
All right. You know what? I'm listening now. I'm all ears. Did she have any secrets? Okay. Look, her husband came to me. He indicated that she might be having something on the side.
What? Jimmy Boy's the one with the secrets. Julia told me everything.
Serafina tells detectives that Julia got suspicious that her husband was having an affair. She broke into a chest that James forbade her to touch, looking for evidence.
Don't touch those.
Who's Miss Triple X, huh?
They are not Triple X.
Whatever. But they are cheap.
Okay then, big lady's underwear, it's becoming a theme. But what exactly James is doing with a bunch of women's clothes in a locked chest in his bedroom is a mystery. Or is it? Could it be just a little kinky?
Fool denied that he was cheating on her, and he even commanded her to stop breaking into his guilty treasures box.
Oh, sorry. Want one?
I don't do candy.
Suit yourself. All right, so you have any other information about Julia leaving her husband?
Yeah.
Serafina reveals that Julia had been planning her exit for some time, stashing away money and looking for an apartment for her and Isabel.
She was really gonna do it this time, even though she was petrified. Because if James found out, oh Lord.
You have to tell me where you're disappearing all night.
Me?
Yes.
Julia confessed to Serafina that she and James argued, and that he was becoming more and more violent and paranoid.
Can your lover buy you all new clothes? No?
Serafina tells police that Julia couldn't bear the constant threat of abuse and violence.
I swear to you, there's no lover!
That's got a smart, and it looked like real silk too. Julia's adamant she's not cheating, but James is not buying it. But that could be a classic misdirect. If you're the one having the affair, then you go on the offensive to shake any suspicion. All those big lady clothes, they make you wonder, could James have a mistress and they did something to take Julia out of the picture? But until police find Julia, it's only a theory.
But then, detectives catch a break. They get a call that a body has been found behind a video arcade that matches Julia's description. The body is officially ID'd as Julia.
From the state of decomposition, I'd say Julia has been dead more than a few days. So that puts it right around the time her husband claims she ran off with another guy. Now that they have Julia's body, they need to trace how it got there. And back in '84, when I started in the Bureau, forensics was a lot less high tech, but the same rules applied. You want to solve a murder? You start with what the body tells you.
The autopsy concludes that Julia's cause of death was suffocation. The red fibers on her body turn out to be satin. And the towel Julia was wrapped in is determined to be a rare and expensive brand from Turkey. When police search the house, they discover a pillow with a trace of blood on it. Under the bed, they find a towel that is an exact replica of the one Julia's body was wrapped in.
You say, Steve, why not check the DNA? Well, back in '84, DNA profiling was just being developed. Nobody had ever even used it in a case. So to make a case in the '80s, it took more legwork. Every single piece of evidence has to conclusively connect to the crime. Back then, we just couldn't wave the DNA wand.
Thank you.
When the fibers on the pillow were tested, they're found to be a match for those found on Julia's body. And the blood on the pillow is Julia's blood type. That's enough for police to bring James in for questioning. But they can't find him anywhere. They search his bank records and discover that James has been withdrawing huge amounts of cash. They're worried he's planning on fleeing the country. Police managed to track James down at his travel agents.
What do you say we make like a stripper?
Absolutely not. I know my rights.
Actually, James, you don't. It's not uncommon for the police to ask people taken into custody to strip down. In this case, it's a chance to photograph any injuries, tattoos, or scars that can be key in their investigation. If James is hiding any cuts, bruises, or markings, the hope is they can be linked to Julia's murder.
The police identify recent scarring on James's torso and a little something else.
Yes, I am the big lady.
Oh, you're a big something, James. I gotta admit, I didn't see that coming. So the lingerie at the gas station and the secret trunk all belong to James. My question is, where did he get that little lacy number? It's cute. Not on him. There is no mystery lady. James, the dominant, controlling plastic surgeon, is a cross-dresser. Talk about a not-so-sweet transvestite. Cross-dressing comes from the man's desire to explore his feminine side, and for many guys, it's an outlet for stress. The more tension at work or home, the more they want to dress up. With his marriage on the rocks, his addiction, and the stress of keeping his cross-dressing a secret, well, James was probably one big hot mess. But big panties alone don't prove that he killed his wife. The police need more evidence to make a murder charge stick.
So tell me, have you ever seen this guy before?
Yeah, man. That dude was a real jerk.
Turns out, on the same day Julia's body was found, James went to the gas station to get his car detailed.
He was mucho particular with his trunk being spotless.
I'll bet he was. And I'll bet he didn't tip either. But Mick just nailed the last piece into place. The evidence against James is coming together. The fibers on Julia's body match the pillow at the house that's got her blood on it. She was wrapped in the exact same towel found in the house. Serafina's statement sets up James' threatening behavior, and Mick puts James at the gas station with his car the day of Julia's disappearance. And I'll bet, just a bet, when they examine the car trunk, they're gonna find more evidence. Now, if the police can get James to confess, they can tie this case up with a nice big bow.
Hello, it's been an hour. What's going on? Finally. Thank you. Though I would have preferred a sparkling water.
Oh, would you? James, it's time for you to stop yammering and listen up for a change.
Detective Falco lays out all the evidence they have tying James to Julia's death.
We swept the trunk. There are traces of Julia's hair and blood all over it. We got you dead to rights, man. Anything to say?
Fine. Yes, I did it. But it was in self-defense.
Now, how did he come up with that one? Well, I'll bet James likes to watch cop dramas when he's not doing tummy tucks and facelifts. My money's on Cagney and Lacey. No, Miami Vice. That show was awesome.
What about the lingerie? What about the wig?
Leave this alone.
Tell me, James.
Leave it alone.
James admits he and Julia were arguing like they always did, but then she got ugly.
I know what you are. Don't deny it. How could you? What if people find out? We'll be laughing stocks.
Julia, please, I beg you.
Julia's reaction to James' big secret is not unusual. This was the early 80s after all, and people were a little bit less accepting about men dressing like women. James' shame at being found out and being rejected by his wife must have been too much for this control freak to bear.
I won't let you ruin my life.
In fear of his life, James says he acted out of instinct. He claimed that after he killed Julia, he put her in the car and tried to bury the body at a friend's country house. But that didn't work out, so he parked the car for the weekend before he finally found a dumpster.
She just didn't understand. She was so small town. I had to destroy my best bra and panty set because of her. Can I please get that sparkling water?
James has spilled his big Lacey secret, but so far they've only got his side of the story. Unless Julia can speak up from the grave.
Hi, Detective.
But evidence from an unexpected source threatens to blow that claim out of the water.
Where did you get this?
It's from Julia.
Julia sent a letter to her boss the day before her death.
Turns out, Julia was planning to use the evidence of James' cross-dressing to blackmail him. Apparently, she'd known about his fancy for women's lingerie for a while. She was threatening to blow his cover if he didn't give her a divorce, alimony, and full custody of their child. Blackmail is a really strong motive for murder. His professional reputation was on the line. He was terrified of losing everything: his career, his money, the life he built. And given his control issues, violent behavior, and the deep shame he felt about his cross-dressing fetish, Julia was playing with fire.
With the help of the letter, police pieced together what likely happened that night.
No, don't go in there. Julia!
Julia finally had enough of James's paranoia and abuse and decided to fight back.
Blushing bride, French maid, oh, my favorite, the naughty nurse.
Do not touch those.
Be my guest. I've got copies. I want a divorce. And if you try to take Izzy away from me, I will not hesitate to use them in court.
You think you can threaten me?
Julia is counting on James giving in to her threat, but instead, he snaps.
Do not lose. Don't you forget it.
Upon further analysis, the medical examiner rules that James's wounds were self-inflicted with nail clippers.
James tried to make it look like Julia attacked him, but good old-fashioned detective work and science got the better of him. Even though DNA wasn't around as a technique in '84, forensics did the job of tying him to the crime, and James' self-defense claim is shut down. I wonder if he's got a special prison ensemble in his wardrobe. An orange, maybe?
James is charged with second-degree murder. But on the way to his first court appearance, James collapses. He's rushed to hospital, where he dies.
Turns out that James had terminal cancer, and he knew his days were numbered. He was so terrified of losing his status as the rich, successful surgeon that he was willing to do whatever it took to keep it, including murder. But in the end, he wasn't even around to care. He didn't go through a public trial that exposed his cross-dressing secret. So he got to keep his precious reputation and get out of serving hard time for killing Julia. It's kind of the ultimate get-out-of-jail-free card. Jeez, the lengths some people will go to.